welcome to Drive Time with Mike. I'm Holly Clark. I'm Mike's campaign manager. Mike's running for Fayette County Commission, and we are traveling the county every Wednesday. And here we are, and we are in Thurmond today. Mike?
Thank you folks for joining us again today at Drive Time with Mike. Our apologies for this being not a live broadcast, but a tape broadcast. Unfortunately, there's no cell phone coverage in Thurmond, so we're taping this today to broadcast tomorrow at our usual time. So why are we in Thurmond today? You know, if you're going to talk about tourism in West Virginia, and specifically in the New River Gorge, Thurmond is where it began, literally a century ago, if not longer. When you look at what was known as the Monte Carlo of the East back in the early 1900s, it was Thurmond. Thurmond was literally one of the richest communities in West Virginia. C&O Railroad used this as a depot, not only for passenger trains, but as a point of commerce. With the old steam trains that came through here, we had a repair station here. It was, again, $1 million deals in the coal mines were brokered here. We're over here on the south side of the bridge currently, where the old Dun Glen Hotel would have been. And if you know anything about the Dun Glen, many deals were cut in the Dun Glen. Remember, in this area, at the early part of the 20th century, was home to 26 different coal mines. And everybody wanted a piece of that money back then. So, routinely, every week, we had trainloads of politicians, bankers, prostitutes, you name it, came here to make their money here because of the amount of commerce that was flowing through here. One of the richest communities between Richmond and Cincinnati when it comes to railways. So there's a broad and varied history here that's been maintained. So when you look at the list of buildings that are slated for demolition, keep in mind some of these buildings may not be able to be brought back up to their previous splendor. However, careful consideration should be made in the ones that are remaining, you know, that their historical relevance should be acknowledged and maintained, because the community is only as relevant as its history is. The people that built up Thurmond, that, you know, W.M. Thurmond, as well as John McKell, who built the Dun Glen. These were history makers for us here in Fayette County. A lot of the reasons we have the commerce we have today was because of these two men's efforts back over a century ago. So, is the history we have here in Thurmond, you know, very varied and extremely colorful? Yes. Should be maintained, of course.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you just quickly to say, buckle up.
Yes.
Buckaroo.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are headed now over to the Amtrak station. And then we'll keep driving, I think, a little bit.
Yep.
But Mike, do you want to continue to kind of tell us about what you've learned in your research about Thurmond?
So when you talk about tourism, you talk about history, maintaining, again, reasons for people to want to visit this area. I mean, you couldn't talk about a better location than Thurmond. I mean, we literally have living history here. Thurmond itself was founded by, you know, again, former Confederate captain, W.M. Thurmond, who was also a devout Baptist and very strict in his religious beliefs. You may not notice, Thurmond used to be a dry town, mandated by Captain Thurmond, because he was so strict in his beliefs. He did not want alcohol, gambling, anything as considered a vice happening in his town.
Huh.
Hence why the Dun Glen was built by John McKell, who did not quite hold his beliefs. I want to take advantage of the commerce that was coming through here. So you had both sides of this bridge, two very competing mindsets, but yet they coexisted. And here we are, again, 100 years later, a county founded on the activities of two men here with two very diametrically opposed viewpoints in how a town should look. Much like us today in our society here. Learn how to coexist with each other, and our viewpoints may vary greatly. So I'm sure that we can find a way to look at these buildings here that are proposed for demolition in Thurmond by the National Park Service to determine which ones may still be viable to maintain and build them back up.
Mike, can you tell us, so you, it's my understanding, Mike, that you called the National Park Service and spoke to them about the status of...
Yes, and we're still in the comment period, so there's been no decision made yet. However, I'm not sure when that comment period will be over, so we should expect to find out any time now when the next public meeting will be held to look for more comments. So I'd imagine the next 3 months or so we'll have another public.
3 months? Did you say 3 months?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
That's a number that came up when we had our last public hearing here, public meeting.
Okay. So all hope is not lost.
All hope is not lost. So there's still plenty of time to comment, express your concerns, and reach out to the National Park Service as well as their state delegation, as well as to the
Federal delegation.
And federal delegation. Yes. Anybody that has a chance of speaking to why this historical district needs to be maintained.
All right, we're gonna cross the railroad tracks, aren't we?
Yes, very carefully. That's
Very carefully in Mike's van.
yes, my very low van.
Can you tell us, because you've done your research, about some of the specific properties that hold historical value and should not be demolished? You were starting to, I think, there's some of these on
Well,
the
one of the
list.
buildings here that was made on our list here that I saw in a documentary I watched last night, the Erskine Pugh Rental House. Anything that tied to Erskine Pugh, who used to manage a bank, we'll be drawing past up here in a second.
Okay.
As well as the former restaurant that was here at one time, early 1900s, should be considered something that should be salvaged or maintained, possible for some historical value. Because he would have been one of the most relevant figures at that time in development of Thurmond.
There are a lot of tales to be told about characters in Thurmond.
Well, literally, it was during its heyday, it was not uncommon to find a dead body here every night.
Well. No wonder a lot of people think that this...
As a matter of fact, the Dun Glen was known for the fact that it was a one-stop shopping center for everything. Not only could you get a room there for the night or the weekend or the week for the approximate cost of $250 a night, which back then was high dollar stays, but the Dun Glen featured a mortuary as well as a dry goods store, banking, could all be maintained there. As a matter of fact, on that side of the river, there used to be an opera house.
Okay, we're coming up on the New River Banking and Trust Company.
New River Banking and Trust Company and the Bank of Thurmond.
Not slated for demolition, however...
Historical value, again, these used to be, have more money going through them in the early part of the 20th century than any other banks in West Virginia. Now tell me that the amount of money that was flowing through here literally daily and weekly would not make a lot of the historical relevance to the homes that were built here by the same people that managed these buildings, these businesses back then. It's not relevant. Imagine the history that's tied to this that you can share with our tourists.
Yeah, I can see it looks like there's a tourist up in front of us. Have you noticed she's been taking a lot of photos?
As a matter of fact, I would challenge you folks, get on YouTube and do a keyword search on Thurmond. You'll see several videos posted by tourists that have come to this town doing exactly what this young lady over here is doing. Or their cameras walking around to these different old buildings that are here locally, including these old homes, and exploring. Because they see the historical value here. If the people outside of Fayette County can see the value here, why can't we as a community see the value in maintaining this history? So reach out to the National Park Service, express your concerns about the demolition of these buildings.
Okay, one more thing I want you to touch on.
Yes.
I do need to apologize. So I posted about our drive time today, and I mentioned that Delegate Pritt was introducing a bill. That is not correct.
Resolution.
He's introducing a resolution for the protection of, I guess, many of these buildings.
Correct.
So I apologize that I misspoke. I didn't realize that was the case. So it's a resolution, not a bill. And the reason it's not a bill in our legislature is because this is a federal issue. The National Park Service is a federal agency. They have the jurisdiction over these properties. So it was wrong of me to speak and say that, so I wanted to correct that. Anything to add from your knowledge of what's happening here?
No much more than I shared. Again, I do give kudos to Delegate Pritt for his efforts and that resolution. However, as Ms. Clark has stated, it's going to be more important to reach out to our federal delegation and have them step in and try and help us salvage these properties.
Yeah.
Because once they're gone forever. No signage, no virtual reality presentation will ever replace the physical presentation of those buildings that are destroyed.
Thanks everybody for joining us for another segment of Drive Time with Mike. I'm Holly Clark. This is Mike Harvey, who's running for Fayette County Commission. And we are thrilled that you continue to follow us along. Every Wednesday at noon, we'll be out on the road.
Yep.
Traveling, and next week we're going to Smithers. So look for us to be down in that community. And I would encourage you, if you have any questions for us, if you have a burning issue for, that you would like for us to investigate, we've had a few people reach out to us, and we are willing to do that homework, if you will, due diligence to try to find out the answers to your questions. So be sure to leave that question on our page, the Facebook page, so that's Making a Difference in Service to Fayette County. And like the page so that you can continue to receive updates on when we're going live or what we're getting ourselves into. And also you can check out votemikeharvey.com, which is Mike's website for his campaign. All right, thank you again. Bye-bye.